Warning. Just like the temples Indiana Jones explores, there are spoiler booby traps ahead for the Dial of Destiny, and they may be hidden. If you don't like it, go punch a Nazi. It's 1981. Raiders of the Lost Ark is released. I'm not even born. I'm not even a twinkle in my dad's eye. It is the movie that solidifies Harrison Ford as a bona fide movie star, the beginning of the ascension to a level of box office success that would see him consistently occupy roles in some of the most popular films of the next 30 years. It's 1989. I'm 6 years old. My best friend Immi has a VHS copy of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. We watch it religiously and play out the film in my backyard, with both of us arguing about who was going to play Indy and who was going to be Short Round. We both want to be that plucky young kid swept along on a globe-trotting adventure with our hero and friend. I wish Indiana Jones was my dad. That would be the coolest. It's still 1989. My dad, who unfortunately is not Indiana Jones, takes me to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the third and final movie in the trilogy. This is very special to me because we can never afford to go and see anything at the movies. In this film, it turns out that James Bond is Indiana Jones's dad, and he's hilarious. I remember thinking how lucky I am to get to see what will definitely be the last Indiana Jones film ever in an actual cinema, and holy shit, it was good. And I guess my dad is kind of cool for taking me. It's 2008. I'm 25 watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull for the first of 2 times in the cinema. But they're nuking the fridge? What the f***? Aliens? This feels strange to me. The CGI effects seem fake and take me out of the reality that the other films cultivated. None of Indy's jokes seem to hit like they used to.
I like Ike.
I don't get it. I guess you had to be there. The plot doesn't hold together for me, although I enjoy the chemistry between Mutt and Indy, but it's strange that they never really acknowledge the fact that Indy is in his 60s now. You know, apart from a few fleeting jokes.
Lensburg, there was twice as many.
We were younger.
I still am young.
I feel like there's a whole other movie, a better movie, trying to get out which acknowledges Indy's age and plays up the dynamic between himself and his son. But it's completely lost in a silly CGI fest with triple agents and Tarzan homages. On second viewing, I've come to a chilling conclusion. The amazing dream team who created, perfected, and delivered 3 near-perfect Indiana Jones movies completely forgot how to make an Indiana Jones movie. Damn, this is going to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Is this how Indy ends? Not with a bang, but a whimper? It's 2023. I'm 40 years old. 2 years older than Harrison Ford was when he played Indiana Jones for the first time in 1981. There has literally been an Indiana Jones movie at every formative stage of my life, and this is really going to be the last one. Time is a flat circle. I've heard some negative feedback about the film. We never knew how good we had it with Crystal Skull, snarked the IGN reviewer. I'm nervous. Will they Crystal Skull it again? I'm not sure I can take that kind of disappointment. Indiana Jones is bigger to me than any other movie hero. Yes, he's better than Han Solo. No, it's not up for debate. And this is coming from someone with a Star Wars tattoo. Harrison Ford is now an octogenarian. Perhaps the youngest looking, most sprightly octogenarian the world has ever seen.
You know, for an old man, you ain't bad in a fight.
Thanks a lot.
What are you, like 80?
Like, for real. He is now.
As this last one concerns age and frailty and changing nature of life, it was especially compelling to me because I am of that age, and I wanted it to feel real for the audience.
But isn't that what he has to say? I mean, don't people get sentimental in their old age? Wasn't all of this stated on the press circuit for Crystal Skull? Is he simply viewing this film through the lens of a man bringing one of the world's beloved characters to life for over 40 years and what that means to him personally?
It means the world to me.
I mean, this is the first Indiana Jones film not directed by Steven Spielberg and not conceived of with George Lucas. Those are literally the largest boots in the world to try and fill. I begin to watch the film. It kicks off with a lengthy flashback of sorts with old Harrison Ford playing young Indiana Jones thanks to a CGI de-aged face at the tail end of World War II. It's pretty convincing most of the time. In fact, it feels good. Despite the CGI, this does feel exactly like an Indiana Jones film. This flashback introduces both the film's villain, a marvelously reserved Mads Mikkelsen as Voller, and the MacGuffin, the Archimedes dial, a worthy artifact that is much more in line with the Ark of the Covenant than the silly crystal skull. After this flashback, we're introduced to old Indy, now a drunk who is teaching archaeology to students who couldn't care less and have no appreciation for the legacy and legend of the old professor who stands before them. Indiana Jones is now a relic of the past, a man who has studied and searched for history his whole life, becoming history himself, and being forced to retire not just from whip-cracking adventures, but even academia. Damn, this really does address his age. This is when he's reunited with his goddaughter Helena, played pitch perfectly by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's searching for the Archimedes dial and needs Indy to help her. Strangely, her character is not unlike Han Solo in A New Hope.
I expect to be well paid. I'm in it for the money.
Then you stole it.
Then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
Fortune and glory.
Of course, she's not the only one searching for it, and it's not long before Indy's off on another adventure with another unlikely companion, searching for another ancient artifact, which will see him globetrotting once more to find the Dial of Destiny and save the world. 2 hours go by in a blink of an eye. I normally take a toilet break at some point, but not for this one. As the credits roll, I'm in tears. Yes, this is a good Indiana Jones film. Yes, it really does show a different side of the character and acknowledge that, yeah, he's old. But because he's old, and because this is the last one, and because all of this has been tied together in a 40-year journey, it resonates. It hits different. It feels more special. I'm reminded of the shortness of life. I was a 6-year-old sitting next to my dad watching Last Crusade. Now I'm a 40-year-old sitting next to my partner watching Destiny. I turn to my girlfriend who's never seen an Indiana Jones film in her life. Tears still streaming down my face. Did you enjoy it, babe? I gasp, trying not to let my voice waver. Yes, she says. Everything was right about it. And I think that's a pretty good way to sum it up. The negative critical response is quite baffling to me and seems more to do with people peddling an agenda and knowing that negative reviews will always equal more clicks than a legitimate problem with the film itself. Just like with Logan, James Mangold as director treats the film with the respect it deserves, providing the appropriate amount of reverence for the films that have come before it, while also delivering an interesting, slightly melancholic, but ultimately uplifting and very satisfying Indiana Jones swan song, which hits all the right notes while adding a few new ones and reaching an ending that both the fans and Harrison Ford himself deserves. At least until the inevitable reboots, prequels, and spin-offs. The Dial of Destiny is a unique film, and the Indiana Jones franchise as a whole is also unique, as there is no other series that has run for so long with the same actor occupying the same role. While there are 50 years of James Bonds and Batmans, there's only one Indiana Jones. Well, unless you count the TV show.
You know, I've always had a thing for ladies in uniform.
Let's not go there. The only thing that comes close is, of course, the recent Star Wars sequel trilogy, which also featured Harrison Ford. And I'm just not sure it really did those characters justice.
That's not how the Force works.
With Indy films, you have Harrison Ford playing a character at 38 and then playing the same character at 78. You have fans like me watching at 6 years old and now watching at 40. That's mind-bending. And the reason this will likely never happen again is that Harrison Ford is part of a last generation of true movie stars.
I think that because I was 35, 40 years old, at really the height of Hollywood's influence over the culture and vice versa, we were enjoying a very good time to be in the movie business.
Movie stars don't really exist anymore. People don't go and see films just because an actor is in it. Movies aren't digested in the same way that they were even when the last Indiana Jones film was released. So without movie stars and our attachment to them, what could possibly sustain our interest for an actor playing a role in a series of films for this long in the future? This may be the only time in history we get to witness the trajectory of a character and actor like this, which makes the film even more remarkable.
We did a costume and makeup test on Harrison, and I had to kind of walk out of the light a few feet just to take a few deep breaths before going back to work. Because seeing him looking that good, it was kind of like, what happened to the last 19 years? How the heck did they go by that fast? My God. And that was scary, but it was also beautiful.
The Dial of Destiny itself is said to point to fissures in time, portals into other moments in history. And I can't help but appreciate the way this MacGuffin echoes thematically for the character of Indiana Jones himself and for us, the audience watching Indiana Jones movies. We are looking at this Indy film through the prism of all the past Indy films. We've seen Indy appear as part of pivotal moments in history each decade from the 1930s all the way to the tail end of the 1960s. And in those adventures, we have always been led to another past in the form of the ancient artifacts that Indy has searched for. We are also witness to the passage of time for Indy himself, who has gone from young to middle age and finally old age before our eyes. I mean, there's levels to this shit.
No, they pulled a little trick on me. They made him 3 years younger. 3 years younger? 2 or 3 years younger than he was last time. I don't know why they would do something like that. Because I got 3 years older and the character got 2 years younger, which makes me 5 years older than I should be for the character. And I can feel the difference.
Now, I'm not here to tell you that this is the best Indiana Jones film, but it is a worthy Indiana Jones film, one that provides an ending we all thought we might get from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The sour taste is gone, and young, old, or somewhere in between, there's absolutely no reason not to grab your fedora, crack that bullwhip, and head off to the cinema for one last adventure with one of the greatest modern heroes of our time. It was a pleasure to be Indy's sidekick for 40 years. Thank you, James Mangold, for recapturing the magic of Indy. Thank you to the original Dream Team for creating one of the most iconic, enduring characters of all time. And thank you to Harrison Ford for bringing him to life for over 40 years.
It's not the years, it's the mileage.
You brought so much joy to people like myself, and you have truly earned the right to retire the character and ride off into the sunset. Give him hell, Indiana Jones.
That's it. No, it's a wrap.
As we come to the end of it, I mean, I feel both relief that we've got through and also sadness that it's over, because every movie you work on is an experience. It's a bubble in your life. It's a time capsule, and it's never ever going to come together the same way ever again. So it's an experience which is coming to an end, and I think there are few of us that don't feel a form of sadness at the end, as well as the relief that it is over.
I feel fine. I feel great. I'm very happy with what we did, and I'm glad it's over. It's the toughest job I ever had.